Good morning. May the 4th be with you.
And also with you.
All right, so the youth were invited to reflect on Jesus' question to Simon Peter. So, Alyssa, do you love me?
Yes, I do love you. And as with most of us, my faith journey began pretty early. I was raised in the Lutheran church, and I was taught about how it worked. My grandparents would take me to Sunday school, and I heard them sing the hymns, read all the scriptures, and teach me how to pray. However, as I grew older, I realized that the traditional church service structure didn't resonate with me as much as it did with others. And then during my time when I went to Lutheridge and other camps like that, I learned that there were so many other ways to worship. I met so many amazing people at Lutheridge who have helped me really realize how I want the future of my faith to look. And because I went to camp, I plan on being a counselor so that I can help bring the same sense of joy and feeling at home that I felt at camp. And then when I started going to youth group, I was really nervous because it was a group of people that I wasn't super close with, and we were invited to share deep things that maybe I wasn't ready to share with a group that I didn't know. And I didn't have a lot of other religious friends, but through other camps and activities like GraceWorks, I discovered other ways to express my devotion, and these methods felt more authentic to me. GraceWorks is also an amazing opportunity to meet more people who share my faith. I was so amazed by the youth gathering in New Orleans because it was an unfamiliar place, but with familiar people, which I saw as an opportunity to ask the uncomfortable questions and really take a deep dive into my faith journey, which I got to do alongside my two best friends. As a result, I've developed a stronger sense of faith and increased confidence in my religious beliefs. I'm so grateful for the opportunities I've had to explore different forms of worship, and I now enjoy sharing these experiences with others. My life has truly been changed by finding a way to express myself in the church and finding ways to help welcome others.
James, do you love me?
Yes, Lord, I love you, but my journey hasn't been a straight path. I grew up in Maryland, and I was raised Catholic. I was baptized in a Catholic church, and I had my first communion there and everything. During COVID, my parents would try to get us to watch our church's virtual services over TV, but we have a large family, and it was hard for them to get a bunch of kids to watch church while we still didn't fully understand what we were watching. As the lockdown continued, my family as a whole started to lose faith, and we stopped watching church on TV. And as a kid, I didn't understand what was going on, and I just did whatever my parents did. In the years following the lockdown, we didn't really return to going to church, not only because the absence of going to church made us lose faith, but there were other events and tragedies that made some of us doubt the existence of God. By the time I was in middle school, I was learning about religions in class, and I began wondering what I personally believed in. I read about many religions out of personal interest, but I still wasn't sure if religion was for me. I had so many misconceptions back then, and some of my friends led me to believe that I was better off without religion and believed that Christians were less accepting and loving than they actually are. Eventually, at the start of my 8th grade year of school, I moved here to South Carolina, and through my new Boy Scout troop, I met Hunter Prest. At this time, I still had many doubts about religion and unsureties about Christianity, but Hunter talked and acted in a way about religion that helped me see it in a new light and helped me realize that Christianity was more than I gave it a chance to be. And I'm super thankful for Hunter for helping me change my perspective on religion, even if he doesn't know it. He helped me a lot. Eventually, I became closer to both Hunter and Alyssa Prest, and they invited me to go to GraceWorks with them, which is an amazing service camp based in Columbia. And it was an amazing week of helping people all over Columbia, from Meals on Wheels to running bingo games in homeless shelters, all in the name of God, and overall doing good things in the name of the Lord helped me regain my faith because I realized what the true meaning of serving the Lord is. After GraceWorks ended, Alyssa and I began dating, and she invited me to start going to church with her. And she also invited me to join the youth group. And ever since then, my faith has substantially rebuilt. And my thanks go out to Hunter, Alyssa, this amazing church, and the youth group. All of these people have helped me find the Lord and truly realize and understand what I believe in. And I will forever be thankful for all these wonderful people who helped me find the Lord, but I also believe that the Lord helped me find all these wonderful people.
Amen. Garrett, do you love me?
Lord, right now, yes, I do. But a while ago, you saw me in my dark little room that I kept the door closed on you. And back then, I always questioned you, doubted you, didn't believe in you, thought you were wrong, and I always never wanted to come to church. I was always mean to my mother, always yelling at her in the morning, not wanting to come to church. Lord, and I kept the door closed, and I wouldn't let you in. But as time went on, and as the youth group and you guys as a congregation helped me come closer to the Lord, I went to Luther Ridge, and that experience helped that door crack open just a little bit for your light to shine through. And my dark little room turned into a bright, Holy Spirit-filled room that I saw you every day and talked to you every day. And after Luther Ridge, I started coming more, did confirmation, and even that was still a struggle. I wasn't fully there yet, Lord, but as time went on, the youth group and obviously you guys as a congregation kept pushing me through it and trying to get me to come to church, and that kept on cracking the door more and more and more, and the Lord's strength overwhelmed mine and kept pushing that door open. And then the youth gathering with Mile and the whole youth group, 16,000 people, we had a conversation, was it like minute 5? Final 5, and it was a conversation that everyone had together at the end of the day to kind of remember what happened that day and what you heard from the sermon and what you took from it and what you heard Jesus talk to you. And as I was speaking, I just busted down in tears. I just couldn't talk for the rest of the Final 5, which the Final 5 turned into like final hour because it just took forever. But I just bawled my eyes out, and that's when that door finally just busted fully open, and you came into my dark little room, and you just changed my life. And so, yes, Lord, I do love you.
Mackenzie, do you love me?
Yes, Lord, I do love you. One Bible verse that really helps me understand and strengthen my faith is Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for you to prosper and not to harm you. Plans to give you a future and a hope. This verse speaks deeply to my heart because it reminds me that God is always in control, even when life feels uncertain and overwhelming. It reassures me that my journey is all of its ups and downs is part of a greater plan that God has lovingly designed for me. Whenever I feel anxious about the future or discouraged by the challenges I'm facing, I come back to this verse. It helps me remember that God doesn't just see where I'm at right now, He sees where I'm going, and He has a purpose for every step along the way. It gives me comfort to know that I'm not walking through life alone and that I can lean on God's promises even when I don't understand what's happening. This verse also builds my confidence in God's goodness. It reminds me that His intentions are never to harm me, but to help me grow, to give me peace, and to lead me into something better. Knowing that God has a plan to give me hope and a future encourages me to trust Him more fully. My faith grows stronger when I hold on to this truth, that my life has meaning and direction because God is guiding me every day with love and purpose.
Addie, do you love me?
Jesus, you know not every journey can be linear. We don't always follow directions, and we make wrong turns. But the important thing is everyone gets there in the end. You know my faith journey hasn't been simple or straightforward, and that I was pushed into something I didn't really understand, with people I didn't know, in an environment I truly hadn't been in for a while. Yes, when I was little, I went to church and Bible school and even the Wednesday dinners. And for the most part, I was raised in the church. But honestly, there was a good period of time where we didn't really go. And then when it came time for me to start my confirmation process, I didn't want to. I didn't understand why it was important or why after so long I was being pushed back into the church. I was scared and afraid of being judged. I didn't like coming to church or being around the church, and going made me really, really nervous. But then Alyssa started inviting me to youth events, And to be honest, I declined many times, enough times that I had contemplated blocking her and just moving on with life. But I didn't. And somehow I found myself at a campus ministry night, apprehensive but curious. Campus ministry showed me that I didn't have to change myself to be a Lutheran. I could come exactly as I am and be loved. Yes, there will always be people who don't want me here, but that is no different from any other place I go. And there's no reason to be bothered by it because the good will outweigh the bad. I started going to youth on Wednesdays, and I learned that there isn't one format for the right Christian, and how our strength as a church is all the different people we have at worship. We all worship and show God's love in different ways, and that's okay and welcome. I started getting more comfortable in service by playing saxophone and going to Lutheridge. Playing saxophone was definitely a bridge. It gave me a conversation starter, and it gave me a way to participate in service, but still have something familiar and comforting. Because of this, coming to church became easier. I felt more like I had a place, like I could connect with the new people I was meeting. But not everything goes according to plan. And around the time of my confirmation, I became more hesitant to go to church. I was suddenly worried about if I was doing enough, and if I was turning into the right Christian. It wasn't as I imagined it to be. I really wanted to avoid church. I thought it would be happy-go-lucky, and I would feel joyful and excited. But instead, it weighed on me. It brought me back to the time where I had just started going to church. But this time, I knew it was on the other side. A world of people who wanted to see me thrive. A group of people who care, and a place where I can be myself. So I pushed myself through the uncomfortable. And while it was hard, and I shed more than a few tears, I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of my journey. It's not a perfect one. In fact, it's messy and incomplete, but I love Jesus.
Daniel, do you love me?
Yes, Lord, I love you. My faith journey with you, Lord, truly began when I started going to church. Of course, I've believed in you my whole life, but I've never really talked about you or felt a true connection until church became a part of my life. At first, I didn't know much. I went to Bible school almost every Sunday and played in the gift zone during service. I started to get along with people, and I was finally able to be myself. Eventually, I joined youth group, where we talked about the different ways you, Lord, worked within us and around us. And slowly, I began to feel the experience of your presence. The first time I really felt you, Lord, was during a fall retreat at the beach. It wasn't through a sermon or a song. It was what I saw. It was a cloudy day. I stood in the water and looked out into the ocean, and in that moment, I knew you were calling me. You were calling me to change, to become a better version of myself. But I was young, and honestly, I ignored it. After COVID, I began hiding myself. I lost my confidence, and I stopped acting like me. But then you called me again, this time in Washington, D.C., during the mystery tour. I started feeling like me again. I was happier, and a small weight was lifted from my shoulders. But still, I didn't listen fully, and I ignored your call again. Why? Maybe ignorance, maybe fear, maybe rebellion, but I'm not sure. But then, Lord, you sent me to the ELCA National Youth Gathering. This time, you didn't hold my hand, you scolded me. You put me through mile, and in that space, I learned that we are all the same, no matter what we're going through or how different we may seem. At the end of the day, we are all equal. Nobody is better, nobody is worse, we're all human. You showed me, Lord, that I had been judging people who were in the same situations I had once been in. You told me instead of judging, love, comfort, and help. Because what I was judging in others could have been me, or maybe it was me. Then, Lord, you threw me into the streets of New Orleans alone. Just me, my thoughts, and my tears. It was like you helped me clean my mind, throwing away what was bad, keeping what was good, and transforming me in just 6 hours. In that time, I changed. You taught me how to be emotional and strong. You taught me how to take care of myself and others. You taught me how to be open with my feelings and not afraid of them. So, yes, Lord, I love you. I love what you do for me. I thank you for the opportunities you've given me, for the people you sent my way, for the family and friends I have, especially Lauren, who helped me in New Orleans. I thank you for all the views you've shown me and the lessons you continue to teach me. This is only the beginning, and I'm so excited to continue walking in my faith journey with you.